Good evening. Welcome to Fitchburg City Council. Tonight is Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and address. Seeing none, we will move forward, and I will do the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, I'd ask you to do the roll call, please.
Vice President Green.
Here.
Councilor Caddy.
Here.
Councilor Squalia.
Present.
Councilor Walsh.
Here.
Councilor Zarella.
Here.
President Kushmerek is absent. Councilor Boschman.
Here.
Councilor Clark.
Here.
Councilor Di Natale.
Here.
Councilor Donnelly.
Here.
Councilor Fleming.
Here.
Great. We will now move into public forum. Anyone wishing to speak on a matter on the agenda may do so, but not for not more than 2 minutes. If you are addressing public hearing petitions, you will have an opportunity to speak at that time. Please approach the center table, identify yourself by name and address. Does anyone wish to speak? And hello there,
Yes.
Mr. Brooks.
My name's Calvin Brooks. I am City Auditor for the City of Fitchburg, and I'm here speaking on items number 30318, 30418, 30518. These three orders have to do with rescinding loan authorizations that were passed in prior years. If you look at the original loan orders, the first one was passed in 2008 for wastewater improvements. The second in 2009 for a Crocker feasibility study that was never done, and 2011 for school system data infrastructure upgrade. All three projects are done. We have no intention of borrowing these loan authorizations or of spending it, so this is just some housekeeping to get rid of some items on the books that we're not going to use. They don't affect us in any way on our financials because I haven't considered these in any future debt projections.
Motion for suspension on 303-18 through 305-18.
Second.
So I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
Moving forward.
303-18 through 305-18 be granted. Second.
Motion and second to grant 303, 304, and 305. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Hearing none, we will then move into the oral report from the Appointments Committee. That would be Councilor Donnelly, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
Motion to approve the records. Second.
Motion second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now hear the oral report from the Appointments Committee, which met earlier this evening. We had before us a new appointment, and that appointment, Ms. Lopez has requested that her appointment be withdrawn from the Human Rights Commission, which we've gladly done. Reappointments, Trustee of Public Burial Grounds, term to expire January 1st, 2022, Mr. Andrew Hawthorne, and term to expire January 1st, 2022, Ms. Judith Perla. Those were both granted.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second to approve the Appointments Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none, thank you, granted. Communications from His Honor the Mayor. A reappointment letter for Miss Linda Byrne as a member of the Fitchburg Housing Authority for a term to expire December 1st, 2022. We will move that into the appointments. Communications report from heads of departments. We have none. We will then move into Finance Committee. That will be done by Councilor Di Natale, please.
Finance met on November 27th and took up 5 orders, all of which were granted unanimously, involving grants with regards to the fire department and police department, including emergency management, safety and security regarding our school systems, and the domestic violence advocate position.
Motion to approve the finance. Second.
I have motion and second to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving back, I did want to mention that the special presentation for the Cemetery Master Plan Phase 2 has been postponed, and that will come before us at a later date. Also, that 30218, City of Fitchburg Auditors Report, the annual meeting, June 30th, 2018, that will be on review or in your office.
We could have a motion to place it on file.
Okay, a motion to place that on file.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we will move into public hearing. Petition 30118, Doug Pope, TGA Pope Solar LLC, to petition for approval to install a conduit from the land of Matt Fournier of 900 Fisher Road to the land of Jim and Allison Latanzi of 885 Fisher Road as outlined in the enclosed petition. I declare the hearing open. Ask the person and persons representing the matter to be seated at the center table, and I see that you are both here. Hello, welcome.
I'm Jim Latanzi, 331 Marshall Road, here in Pittsburgh. This is Doug Pope.
How are things going?
Things are wonderful.
Good.
We're starting to get ready for the Christmas season, just as a family, not as a farm. Close.
Right, taking some much-deserved time off.
It's been a whirlwind of a year, and we're looking forward to a little bit of a reprieve, but it's fun.
Accept and accept.
Yeah, right.
We'll give one to
Glad
place
they
for
decided to turn
the
the temperature,
clerk's
of course, this
office.
year.
Great, thank you. And then we can share. Yeah.
And now she's pulling it up on there.
All right, so Mr. Pope, would you like to start us off and explain to us what's happening here?
Yes, good evening. My name is Doug Pope. I'm the managing director of TGA Pope Solar. We are a solar development company. We're working with Jim and with Matt Fournier of 885 Fisher Road and 900 Fisher Road. The projects are directly across the street from one another, nearly directly across the street. We first started working with Jim about 2 years ago, and we were thinking about simply developing his property, but then the interconnection cost came in from Unitil, the utility, and it's very, very high for for the project size that we have. So we were looking for ways to make his project feasible, and so we approached the developers of Matt Fournier's project, and we've purchased that. And we have these two projects listed in the new SMART program, which just opened this week. And in order for us to, because Unitil is the smallest utility in the Commonwealth, it only has 1% of the load, therefore it only has 1% of the SMART program size. So because of the way that the regulations are done, we had to put the 900 project on our interconnection ISA, which is an interconnection service agreement with the utility. Which, the bottom line is, we need to connect the 900 property under the road to the 885 with a single point of interconnection with the utility. And so that's what we're here for tonight, is to get permission to, in whatever fashion the city prefers. We can do a directional bore, we can do an excavation of the street, we'll do whatever the city department chooses, directs us to do. But these plans refer to for a directional bore, so there would be no disturbing of the street. So anyway, that's we cannot go overhead because that would interfere with the utility franchise area. They control everything above the grade, so the private entity cannot have utility power lines in their franchise area. So going in the road will satisfy that requirement.
Okay. We're going to open it up to
Certainly.
questions from counselors.
Great.
All right, and I have Counselor Zarella, please.
I'm actually all set. He answered what I was going to ask in the next sentence.
Okay. Counselor Boschman.
One quick question for
I already called him up and talked to him, but is there a particular, I know it's not city property, but I noticed that I was counting the number of poles that you have on your, you're going to be putting on property. Is there any reason why we have to have 10 or 12 poles? Why can't we just have 1 or 2? I know it's your property.
That, I can answer that, actually, Counselor. It has all to do with design and layout from Meridian, who's the design engineer, and they're meeting state codes. And so, if you actually drive by any of the existing solar arrays in the city of Fitchburg, you'll notice they'll have, it seems silly, but there's a pole after pole after pole after pole. Specifically, the one I'm familiar with most is on Pearl Hill Road. It's just the design that is laid out by the engineers and by the utility. That's not something that we necessarily, as a developer or as a landowner, I want to put more poles in. That's just how we're told we have to do it.
Okay.
A lot of this stuff is dictated by state code.
Okay.
Those will be on private property, but we're probably going to have to give the utility an easement, because some of their equipment's going to be hung on there.
Yeah.
But that's on private land.
Right.
What's happened is, of course, Matt and I have essentially had separate projects. And when it came back from the utility, what the interconnect fees were going to be, basically it was going to kill both projects. And so we went to the utility and we went and worked with the state and said, how can we make this, how can we help make this thing feasible? And it was suggested that we essentially make it into one project. And that's where my developer here, Mr. Pope, his company, they then bought the project from across the street to say, all right, we're going to put these two together and make this essentially one. So it's keeping the interconnect to something that will actually make this a viable project for myself, for Matt, and ultimately in the long run, be, we're looking at a pilot with the city, which is very low cost revenue. So, ultimately from my perspective, this is the best opportunity, and really we're at a position where we would need to cross the road, and so that's why we're here.
Counselor Caddy?
How high are the poles going to be? I'm kidding.
Oh, you're just trying to break me, Joe. That's what you're doing.
Right, yeah.
So, who's requiring you to do a directional bore instead of opening the road?
There's no requirement. In the preparation of this application, they thought a directional bore would have less impact on the road surface. If your city department chooses for us to bury it at a certain depth and put concrete in the hole, we'll be happy to do that.
What's the cheapest way to do it?
Probably.
And you could hit ledge.
Well, yeah.
You could. That's kind of an unknown. I mean, we should be able to know because there is water in the road, and so they'll know how deep their water lines are. So that's something that we can figure out. I know that we've already been in touch with the engineering department from the city. They didn't have any issue whatsoever. We had a number of interactions.
I'm just hoping.
We'll just go with their direction. If
I'm
they
just
say-
hoping it's their call, that they can help
Yes,
you
It's their
in any
call.
way they
It's
can.
your road, it's their call.
Good.
Whatever they want us to do. I mean, that isn't the big deal. The big deal is that we can tie these things together to make this a feasible project. So.
Counselor Squalia?
That was my only question, was on the directional bore or the trench. In your details, you have a under-the-road trench that's 2'7" deep. Is that part of the directional bore, or is that if you had to trench
No,
it?
I gave you two drawings to just sort of blow it up. They're both listed it's a directional bore. Unfortunately, they listed as a trench. They were intending to do a directional bore. That was the intent. We don't care. It's not going to be one way or another. It's whatever the city wants.
Can you just describe what a directional bore is?
You dig a hole over here, and you either do a drill or drive a hammer through, and you create the room for the conduit, and then you feed the conduit through.
So you would be installing your 4-inch conduit and a 4-inch spare?
Yes.
In either way?
Correct.
And you'd be boring, doing that twice?
Yes.
Or would you be boring with a large? Okay. And that would be about 2.5 feet down?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Donley?
Thank you. Cost factor, difference between trenching and boring?
We haven't run the costs. We have not run the difference between the costs. And the reason why I say it is because I'm assuming that a trench with concrete in the hole is going to be more expensive, but that's not a consideration. It's more important that we combine the systems.
We might be looking at a cost to do a directional bore. My understanding last time I looked at a project like this, say a directional bore is going to cost me $10,000 to do it. It may cost us $8,000 to dig the trench, pour concrete. ultimately, in the whole scheme of things, I mean, Unitil wants, over $1 million for the interconnect alone. We're looking at 1.3 million to tie the project in. And that's just to hand them so that we can plug into their power lines. We're looking at the difference in a couple of thousand one way or another. We're just gonna do whatever the engineering department says they want us to do, and we'll say thank you,
Well,
you know.
from a Public Works perspective, I mean, if there's no patch in the road, and I don't know exactly where you're gonna put it, and I don't know the condition of the road, but if there's no disruption in the road, I would think that the bore might be,
Might be better, it might be better in one regard, but they also may know, if we've got
unless there's
certain
ledge or
circumstances or
something.
something. They, and ultimately, we're gonna let them make
Okay.
that call, whatever they want.
Thank
We're
you.
happy to do it, and just, go from there.
Counselor Boishman?
Believe it or not, that was my question too, because I wanted to find out, because when the next guy came in front of me, and I don't like overhead, I can say, well, you can bore it because it's cheaper, because I had a couple guys up here that told us it was cheaper. So thank you.
I do have a question on, when you tie the two systems together, are you both going to independently own and operate and be able to benefit from each of your own separate panel generation?
Yes, so Matt and I, as landowners, both have separate lease agreements. And so we're essentially, it's like two projects, it was two projects and where we had two agreements, but Pope ended up buying Matt's, they invested in that project, and so ultimately, from an interconnect standpoint, it's one project. But Matt and I both have our own separate arrangements, mine being separate from his, and that his panels are gonna be tighter together. We're doing one of the first ag solar programs in the state. And so what we've done is our panels are wider, they're higher, and we're gonna be able to pasture livestock underneath them. It's pretty a neat program. Really,
As long as they accept it.
As long as they accept it. The application's in, I don't see any issues, but that's one more step to this SMART program. SMART being the new solar programs, incentives that are out by the state. And so they finally put in a provision that works for, a lot of large landowners or farmers, and you don't want to give up your farmland to put panels on it, but, so they, there's special cases like we have, and so they incentivize it by giving a little bit more money, because that racking system and the production isn't going to be the same as if it was a conventional solar array. But we're really excited to be one of that first programs in the state.
Will the goal for your farm to be use the electricity generated from your panels to help offset?
So this particular arrangement, my arrangement with Pope, is a lease arrangement.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily get that electricity. As a resident and business owner here in Fitchburg, I have the opportunity to purchase that electricity through an aggravator. Like we all have that opportunity now. So essentially, I could buy my own at a discount, because that's typically what you're doing when you're buying local and solar. But my particular arrangement is a lease opportunity.
Okay.
We're eyeing his roof. He's got a big roof over there we're eyeing. And as soon as they open up the next reiteration of more blocks in Unitil,
Yep.
we'll be talking about that. That's about an 88 kW.
System.
Wow,
So that's
okay.
another system. We do use a lot of electricity.
Yeah.
But like I said, this in particular for us, and really from my perspective, the proximity to the home farm. This is of course, this was the Sulin Orchard that we purchased 2 years ago, and ultimately, I'm not going to plant U-pick strawberries over there because it's too far from home. But it's a great spot to pasture livestock, and it is really fitting to the topography of the land. And then again, of course, this opportunity for steady income that's stable, that as long as the sun comes up, we get paid.
Right,
And that
right.
helps when you're farming.
No, thanks again for being a good community partner with us with this project. Counselor Boishman, again?
Again, I got a question. Is Unitil hard to work with on solar panels?
They've been a delight.
They've been a delight?
They've been absolutely terrific.
Okay, that's what I want.
I will second that. I mean,
often hear.
no.
No, they've been, we have to deal with all the utilities in the Commonwealth, and they've been terrific to deal with.
Good. Thank you. If all the counselors have been heard, if anyone wishes to speak in favor of the petition? If anyone wishes to speak in opposition of the petition? Okay, yes, so you need to write.
Yes.
I need your name and address, please.
Oh, 890 Fisher.
It's gotta come up.
And your name?
Max Goodwin.
That's a good one.
My
Can
property
you
is
actually
adjacent
come
to
up?
this Fournier's property is down the road. I've noticed a change, ever since Matt opened up the property, there's been a change in water. How much water comes onto my property. I mean, as you know, living up there, it's pretty wet. So I'm wondering how much more water I'm gonna get from a conduit system. How close is the property line? How, are we gonna trench along that property line? What's the plan, I guess? I looked at the drawings the other day, but it wasn't really descriptive as far as what exactly we're doing.
The plan is to go from one driveway to another.
Okay.
So where are you getting the increased water from?
Well, I think it's just that when they cleared that land on that side, it's downhill to my property, so it increased the flow down the road, and it's more wet in my yard than it was. I've been there for 10 years, 11 years. I noticed that after they cleared it last year or the year before, it increased how much came across the property line onto my property on the side. So I'm just wondering how much more I'm gonna get if I get it.
Hopefully none and maybe less. I mean, my
That's what I'm hoping.
understanding. No, I mean, anything that we're doing, all the plans and all the engineered drawings have all gone through conservation. So any of these things, should be addressed already. But me being a landowner too is one, I can tell you, and I hope to have my hand, I will have my hand in a fair bit of this project itself. I'll make sure that we can do everything necessary to limit or mitigate any issues that are there, so.
I mean, as you know, that
No.
land that runs across
Mr.
that
Goodwin,
property line, on that line.
could you approach, please, if you're going to continue to speak? Because Councillor Boschman and some other councillors can't quite hear you. Thank you.
So, on that property line is a wetland, it's dedicated wetland, it's a blue tag. That's where that water is just increasing on that side, and that's directly, upstream from my house. So it's, as the water increases, I have an old house, so it's fieldstone foundation, so it's a constant battle. So I'm just trying to make sure that I don't run into a situation where I'm gonna get more water. It's already a battle, and, a battle I fight every day, so.
Be happy to work with you. It's not an issue.
That's what I was looking for, is making sure that
We'd be happy to work with you.
perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Good deal. I'm happy.
Thank you. If all have been heard, declare the hearing closed. I have a motion and second to approve 30118. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Granted. Thank you very much.
Good holiday.
And again, thank you again for working with the city of Fitchburg, Mr. LaPanzi. Do we need to address these again? Okay. We will move on to order other, petition 30618, ordered that the Honorable Mayor Stephen D. Natale is authorized on behalf of the City of Fitchburg to facilitate and execute the attached community host benefit agreement with Green Era LLC located at 371 John Fitch Highway, Fitchburg, Mass. I have a motion and second to suspend the rules on 30618. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. I have a motion and second to approve 30618. Questions from the councilors? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. Petition 30718, Councilors Green and Di Natale on behalf of resident Tim St. Jean to inspect and find a remedy to water runoff issue beginning at 113 Payson Street that is causing a reoccurring ice bed to form during cold weather on remainder of the street. That will be sent to Public Works Committee. Councilor Caddy.
Hold that for me?
Sure.
Oh, you want me to give it to Ralph?
No, Paul, that's to take home and put on your wall.
Thank you.
So the poster is just not big enough to say what we're gonna do, but, so here's the latest, beginning at 11 a.m. Saturday morning, December 8th. Hollis Hills Farm, Jim Latanzi, is donating 2 of his hay wagons to come to our event. The first wagon will stop at St. Bernard's Activity Center and pick up the St. Bernard's Championship Super Bowl champs. The second wagon will arrive shortly later with Fitchburg University's championship hockey team. A local DJ, Jim Beam, will play all day from 11 a.m. to 3. We are honored to have the actors from Stratton Players dressed in Charles Dickens costumes and interacting with the street. Santa will be giving out stockings filled with candy, helped by the Fitchburg Fire Department. The Fitchburg Police Department Community Engagement Group will keep us safe and interact with the kids. The artists, crafters, farmers market will set up at 480 Main Street at the local spot. 2 food trucks will also attend, Capo and Zapata. TJ's Barbecue and the local spot be open for business. Sharon Bernard, our very popular librarian, will be playing Mrs. Claus and reading to our children. And as of this morning, the National Veterans Chorus will be coming to entertain us.
Excellent. So we do want to point out that this is the second annual of this, right? We had this.
Well, it's the second one. I don't know if it'll be an annual, but we'll see.
Come on, don't give up.
But
Right,
in the
yeah.
center of that photo, you'll see Counselor Donnelly.
With the blue?
Oh, this one here, he made his, right, like the best photo bomb ever, right there. Right.
So it's really been a moving target, and probably by Saturday, I'll have several more events coming because people have been calling me to join up.
Great.
So I'm hoping, we'll get some people downtown. It's going to be cold. It's supposed to be 27 degrees on Saturday.
Right, we know how to bundle up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it
But,
was a great event
it
and
should be
well-received last year, so looking forward to it again this year. Any other announcements from Counselor? Oh, and the mayor, yes.
I just wanted to, congratulate St. Bernard's. There happens to be 2 people at this table, I think. Tom Donnelly and myself, alma mater of St. Bernard's.
Wait a minute, Mayor.
Well, I don't know, did you graduate from?
Claim it? Right, yeah.
No, I knew he attended. I wasn't sure he graduated. But seriously, what a great season for them. Congratulations, and I think I'm gonna be riding on the float with them on Saturday. So that's a great accomplishment for St. Bernard's Bernardians.
Right.
And Fitchburg, that's right.
We had a perfect season.
Counselor Squalia.
All right, I got an announcement. The No Evil Project will be opening their reception for all their Fitchburg residents that they've taken photographs of throughout the past 6 months or so at the Art Museum, and that is from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Art Museum. They'll have refreshments and discussions, and you'll be able to see you and your friends on the wall of the Art Museum.
Thank you. And again, before we adjourn, I would like to just give kudos again this past weekend, Saturday, for another terrific house tours. Thank you again to the Historical Society for putting that event on, to the members of the board, and to the volunteers who help with that, and especially to the homeowners for opening their homes to our community for us to go in and gawk and, pick their brains on that. So, again, as we know, there are lots of great things happening in our community. We need to keep the positivity going with that. So, again, that was just this past weekend. We've got another Memory Maker set for Saturday. So we look forward to seeing everybody from our community out and about. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.